Hello there, and welcome to Directive 86. Tonight we will explore the soft, luminous world of light, a quiet companion that moves with us through every waking hour and follows us gently into sleep. I know you use this video to sleep, so before that, I would appreciate a like and subscribe. And don't forget to comment down below where you are watching this from. Let's begin. Light is both simpler and stranger than it first appears. At a glance, it seems like nothing more than what lets you see, but beneath the surface, it is a river of tiny energy packets called photons, and a gentle wave that ripples through space. Sometimes we picture light as a line drawing the edges of objects, and sometimes as a soft wind of particles racing outward from a source. Both pictures are useful. Together they remind us that light is neither strictly one thing nor another, but a shy, many-faced presence that arrives where it is needed and then slips away. If you imagine standing on a quiet shore and throwing a pebble into still water, the concentric ripples are like a kind of light, spreading outward, carrying motion, and fading on the horizon. Photons travel at a speed so fast our minds cannot easily grasp it, nearly 300,000 kilometers every second. And yet even this immense hurry feels gentle when we picture a single beam warming a patch of skin or painting a room gold at dusk. The contrast between that cosmic swiftness and the way light cradles ordinary moments is part of its quiet magic. Many of the calming qualities of light come from how it changes as it travels through air, water, and glass. The sky, for example, appears blue because tiny molecules in the atmosphere scatter shorter wavelengths of light more than longer ones. We rarely notice the scattering itself. We notice only the effect, the vast, soft blue that can feel like a ceiling of calm above a sleepy day. As the sun lowers, the light must pass through more air, and the shorter blues scatter away, leaving longer reds and golds. That is why sunsets feel like slow breathing, a warm, lingering exhale across the horizon, a natural lullaby painted in orange and rose. Light also has a temperature of its own, a subtle warmth not measured by a thermometer, but by the feeling it gives. Morning light is cool and crisp, like a page turned at the beginning of a story, while evening light settles into warm amber, like a voice lowering into a whisper. This color shift is not only poetic, it speaks to how living creatures have tuned themselves to light over millennia. Your body listens to these tones without words. When the light around you is bright and bluish, your internal clocks take notice and nudge you toward wakefulness. When the light grows soft and red, the body begins to lower its guard, making sleep feel nearer and gentler. The way light shapes time can be as reassuring as the ticking of a familiar clock. In our brains, there is a small, hidden conductor that keeps time by listening to the day's light. Each morning's bright moments reset the rhythm. Each dusk's calm shades tell the conductor to slow its pace. This is why twilight can feel like a bridge. The day's tasks dissolve, the mind softens, and your body quietly prepares. It is a simple chemistry, a whisper between photons and the cells that track them, and it works without fuss, like a caretaker tidying a room while you rest. Not all light comes from the sun. Under the surface of the ocean, a different kind of glow appears when living creatures make their own light. Bioluminescence is nature's gentle lantern. Tiny organisms, drifting plankton, and some fish create soft blue-green glows that pulse and sway like lanterns on a dark sea. If you have ever watched a wave break and leave a brief, starry trail in its froth, you have seen millions of living lights signaling quietly in the dark. Fireflies do something similar on land, little heartbeats of light that blink like shy messages passed between trees. Those glows are never urgent. They are patient, deliberate, and slow to speak, a calm chorus that invites the mind to soften and the breath to deepen. Light also carries memory. A sunbeam falling on an old photograph can pull a memory forward as surely as a scent can. A detail wakes, a face surfaces, a season returns. The mind keeps a catalogue of light patterns linked to places, to voices, to the way rooms felt when you were small. This link between light and memory is why certain corners of a house feel safe, why the same warm lamp in two different rooms can make one feel like home and the other merely cozy. The relationship is quiet and reciprocal. Light shapes how we remember, and our memories shape how we welcome certain lights into our lives. There are also gentle scientific surprises that read like folklore. Moonlight is reflected sunlight, of course, and yet its quality is not the same as day. It is thinner, cooler, like the voice of the world at rest. Starlight, distant and faint, takes years or centuries to reach us, so when you catch a single star's shimmer, you're touching a small echo from far away. Imagine that for a while. The light that brushes your eyelids may have begun its journey long before your grandparents were born. Holding that thought can be strangely comforting, a reminder of continuity and of the slow, patient scale of the universe around us. On a smaller, nearer scale, the spaces we arrange light into matter to the senses. Lamps with warm bulbs coax the body toward relaxation. Screens that glow with too much blue can tug the mind back toward wakefulness. Knowing this gives you gentle power over your nights. Dim the bright blues as the evening completes its arc. Let warm light gather like a soft blanket across your room, and notice how your breathing eases when the world around you loosens its glare. These are small, kind rituals that allow light to guide you rather than jolt you. Light also teaches patience. Consider a beam passing through glass and dividing into a tiny rainbow, each color taking slightly different paths. The trickle of color is a slow unfolding, a reminder that what seems instantaneous often contains tiny delays, tiny negotiations, the hidden work of physics rearranging itself. Watching a prism spill color is like watching a watercolor wash unfold across paper, layered, patient, and always moving toward completion without hurry. As we settle deeper into this story of light, there are many gentle places left to visit. The aurora's long curtains that drift across polar skies like floating silk, the pale afterglow of twilight called alpenglow that paints mountain faces in tender pink, the way leaves filter sun into lace across a forest floor. Each of these scenes carries soft facts, small truths about scattering, reflection, and life's response to photons, and each is an invitation to let your thoughts slow and follow the light into quiet. For now, let the image of a slow sunrise linger, a thin line of gold stretching along the edge of the world, birds finding their first notes, a room filling with pale warmth coaxing your muscles to loosen. Picture how each tiny photon arrives not in a rush, but as part of a steady arrival, like a family of guests, arriving one by one to a long, gentle evening. Your heartbeat can fall into that steady rhythm with them, and your breathing can learn the unhurried pattern of dawn. We will explore more of these gentle facts in the next part. There, we will follow light into deeper corners, how color shapes emotion in quiet ways, why night and day feel different inside the body, and the soft physics behind the auroras and ocean glows. For now, allow your eyes to close if they wish. Let the last image you hold be the warm, slow arc of light across a familiar room, and notice how that image settles like soft sand across your thoughts. Light carries with it not only brightness but mood. Each shade, each hue, seems to speak its own gentle language to your body and mind. Scientists call these wavelengths, but to you they feel like tones of an emotional palette. Blue light can feel crisp and alert, like the clear air of morning. Green light whispers balance, the quiet stability of leaves and forests. Warm tones, oranges, ambers, and reds, soothe, carrying the hush of firelight, sunset, and the closing of the day. Your body listens to these colors almost unconsciously, adjusting its rhythms in response. This silent communication between photons and cells is the subtle art that makes evening feel different from morning, and autumn afternoons feel different from spring dawns. It is not just humans who respond to color in this way. Across the natural world, creatures adjust their movements and choices according to light's hues. Migrating birds navigate by stars that appear slightly shifted in color. Sea creatures ascend and descend through layers of filtered blue and green. Plants open and close according to the tones of light they receive. Tiny leaf cells acting like doors that sense the difference between dawn's pale gold and dusk's warmer glow. Light's palette is not merely decoration. It is a guidebook written in wavelengths, one that every living thing learns to read without study. Colors also link to memory and emotion in ways that can lull the mind toward rest. Think of the golden light of a lamp in a childhood room, how its hue may still feel safe when you see it again years later. Or the cool blue of moonlight across across a quiet floor, how it creates a sense of stillness and calm. Your mind tucks these connections away, pairing colors with states of being. This is why a particular shade of evening sky can suddenly make you feel at ease, as if the world were telling you it is time to let go. Some colors are tied to rituals of calm in cultures across the world. The soft flicker of candlelight is used in meditation and prayer. Warm embers in a fire are symbols of gathering and safety. Even the dim glow of oil lamps or lanterns carries the same message: slow down, rest, be here. Over centuries, people have discovered through experience what science now confirms: that light's warmth signals to the body that night has come, and with it, the time to close the day. Within the eye, a special set of receptors listens directly to light's colors and passes that message straight to your brain's sleep center. When these receptors notice the lowering of blue light at dusk, they tell your brain to begin weaving melatonin, a natural chemical that gently loosens thought and prepares sleep. This quiet biology is the reason why sunsets are so much more than a painting in the sky. They are physiological lullabies, external signals tuned precisely to your body's inner rhythms. But light is not limited to visible colors. Just beyond what the eye can see lies infrared and ultraviolet, rays that carry energy the body does not notice directly, but that shape the world nonetheless. Infrared light carries warmth, the kind you feel even after the sun has slipped below the horizon, radiating from stones and soil. Ultraviolet carries the spark that helps the body make vitamin D, a small gift hidden in sunshine. These unseen parts of the spectrum remind us that light holds secrets, working quietly in layers, most of which the body interprets without thought. It is like listening to music. The melody is clear, but hidden harmonies enrich it in ways you only sense indirectly. Consider, too, the auroras, those gentle curtains of shifting color that flow across polar skies. They appear when charged particles from the sun brush against Earth's atmosphere, painting arcs of green and red that drift like silk. Watching them feels like watching light itself breathe. In the hush of a cold night, the aurora moves with a slow, steady rhythm, unhurried and endless. People who stand beneath it often describe the same feeling, that the sky has become alive, and yet in the softest possible way. The aurora is light at its most theatrical, yet still strangely calming, a reminder that even in grandeur, light's voice is gentle. Light's effects on mood go beyond beauty. Hospitals use warmer tones of light to encourage healing and calm. Workplaces choose cooler light to help focus. Artists know how to bend colors into emotions, just as composers shape notes into melodies. And you, without realizing it, shape your own mood each evening by choosing how your room is lit. A harsh overhead bulb may keep thoughts racing, while a small lamp with golden tones can coax them to slow. In this way, you are always in quiet conversation with light, responding to its suggestions and letting it guide you toward either wakefulness or rest. As this conversation with light deepens, notice how much of it happens beneath the surface of thought. You do not tell yourself to feel calmer when the lamp glows amber. You do not consciously decide to feel safe when firelight flickers on a wall. These are responses built into the body, ancient, reliable, and comforting. Knowing this, you can relax into the trust that light will carry you gently. You can allow the day's brightness to fade into evening warmth, and then into the dim blue of night, confident that your body already knows the way. Soon, we will drift further into the quiet phenomena of bioluminescence and the secret lights of the natural world, how creatures and plants create their own glows, and how those hidden lanterns remind us that even in darkness, light finds a way to whisper. For now, let the soft hues of twilight settle across your thoughts, like watercolor spreading slowly across a calm sheet of paper. In the stillness of night, light sometimes rises from within life itself. This quiet phenomenon is called bioluminescence, a gentle glow created by living creatures. Unlike the sun or lamps, this light comes from within, a calm whisper produced by chemistry and biology working together. It is among the most soothing spectacles of nature because it feels both alive and unhurried, like secret lanterns drifting in the dark. In the depths of the ocean, where sunlight cannot reach, countless creatures have learned to weave their own glimmers. Tiny plankton drift and pulse with blue-green sparks. Fish carry lantern-like organs along their bodies, glowing steadily or flashing slowly to send signals. Some creatures use light to lure, some to communicate, some simply to exist. The result is a slow-moving constellation beneath the waves, galaxies of tiny lights suspended in black water, blinking and fading with no urgency. If you imagine lying on your back in a boat at night and gazing at the starry sky, then tipping your head over the side to see the water beneath, you would find two heavens mirrored. One above, one below, both calm, both endless. Even closer to shore, the sea can suddenly bloom with light when billions of plankton stir at once. Waves break in ribbons of glowing foam, each crest lit by organisms brushing against one another. As your hand trails through the water, sparks appear around your fingers, bright and then gone, like stars that ignite and vanish. To witness this is to see light unchained from the sun, freely dancing in the dark, inviting wonder in the most hushed and gentle way. On land, bioluminescence appears too, in smaller but no less magical forms. Fireflies drift through summer fields, their light like patient conversation, blinking slowly to one another across the air. Each pulse is deliberate, unhurried, a glowing word exchanged in silence. For those watching, the effect is soothing. Tiny lanterns rising and falling as if the night itself were breathing. Some mushrooms in damp forests also glow faintly, their caps lit with a dim green. Walkers who stumble upon them describe the forest floor as sprinkled with starlight, a quiet surprise that feels both otherworldly and deeply peaceful. What makes bioluminescence even more calming is its restraint. These lights are never overwhelming, never blinding. They glow softly, just enough to be noticed, then vanish into darkness again. They remind us that not all illumination has to be strong to be beautiful. Sometimes the gentlest glow carries the greatest sense of peace. Scientists have found that bioluminescence usually comes from a chemical reaction involving luciferin and luciferase, a name that sounds fiery, but in practice produces only soft light. The process wastes little energy, turning most of it directly into glow instead of heat. This efficiency makes the light calm in another way. It shines without strain, without excess, a reminder that nature often finds the simplest path to beauty. For humans, bioluminescence has always felt like quiet magic. Ancient sailors spoke of milky seas, vast stretches of glowing ocean that lit up their ships' wakes for miles. These were not myths, but real blooms of light-producing plankton spreading across the surface like an endless lantern. Imagine a sea that glows as you sail, with no sound but the lapping of water, no horizon but the glow itself. To picture this is to feel yourself surrounded by calm, carried through by gentle light in every direction. Bioluminescence also teaches patience. Unlike the sudden flare of lightning, it emerges in steady pulses, glows that last just long enough to notice, then fade. The rhythm is never harsh. It is like breathing, appearing, vanishing, returning, the most natural of patterns. If you let your thoughts follow this rhythm, they too can slow. In, out, bright, dim, bright again. In a way, the hidden lanterns of the world remind us that even in the darkest places, light has a way of appearing softly. It does not rush in. It does not overwhelm. It arrives gently, quietly, and only as much as needed. Perhaps that is why these glowing creatures feel so calming. They embody the idea that light can be modest and still fill the dark with wonder. As we move further into the story of light, we will turn next to the gentle ways light interacts with the sky, rainbows, halos, and twilight glows, subtle displays that remind us of the world's artistry. But for now, let the thought of tiny, living lanterns stay with you, drifting and breathing in the quiet dark, as if the night itself had learned to whisper through light. When light meets air and water, it bends and scatters into patterns so delicate they feel like nature painting in slow motion. These quiet spectacles of the sky are among the most calming forms of light because they arrive without force, appearing only when the moment is right. They never demand attention. They simply exist, waiting for a soft gaze to notice. A rainbow begins with something as ordinary as raindrops. Each drop acts like a small prism, bending the sun's rays and splitting them into gentle arcs of color. To see one is to be reminded that the world carries hidden possibilities, revealed only when light and water agree to meet at just the right angle. Rainbows never last long, and perhaps that fleeting quality is part of their calm. You cannot hold them or summon them at will. They simply appear, arching over fields or city streets, and then fade as if they had only stopped by to leave a soft message. Halos are even subtler. High above, thin ice crystals in cirrus clouds can bend sunlight or moonlight into rings. These halos may circle the sun on a cold day or surround the moon on a winter's night, glowing faintly like crowns of ice. Unlike rainbows, which flash with many colors, halos are often pale, almost transparent. They invite the eyes to rest in their circles, tracing lines that feel endless without beginning or end. For centuries, people have taken halos as signs or omens, but beyond the myths lies something simpler, a quiet reminder that light, even when distant and cold, still knows how to decorate the sky in hushed tones. Another gentle spectacle is the glow that lingers after the sun has set, twilight. This fading light is called the afterglow, and in mountains, it sometimes appears as alpenglow, a blush of rose or peach spreading across peaks long after the sun has slipped away. Watching a mountain turn pink and then violet feels like watching the world sigh at the close of day. The transformation is gradual, almost imperceptible, the kind of change you only notice if you allow your thoughts to slow to the same pace. Even the simplest play of light at twilight carries calm. As the sun drops, blue wavelengths scatter upward and the sky deepens into indigo. Streetlights begin to glow, windows flicker on, stars prick the horizon. It is not sudden darkness, but a long, slow dimming, the sky tucking itself in layer by layer. This rhythm reassures the body. Your heart and breath find comfort in the pattern, bright day easing into dim evening, then into night, with no abrupt edges. Moonlight itself is another of these gentle gifts. It is only reflected sunlight, yet it feels like something entirely its own, a cooler, softer radiance, stripped of heat and sharpened edges. The moon does not blaze, it steadies. Its glow paints landscapes in silver, quieting the colors of the day into a single hushed palette. For those who walk under it, the effect is soothing, as though the world has been gently washed in calm water. These phenomena remind us that light is not always about brightness. Sometimes it is about restraint, about the way faint arcs, rings, and afterglows decorate the edges of our days. Rainbows, halos, twilight, moonlight, all are temporary, delicate, and impossible to capture fully. They remind us to pause, to notice, and to let go. Their very impermanence makes them restful, like whispered lullabies carried on the sky. Next, we will explore the softer ways light interacts with life itself, how plants bend toward it, how animals guide themselves by its rhythms, and how our own bodies are quietly tuned to its patterns. For now, imagine a halo around the moon, faint but steady, circling like a calm hand around the night. Let that image drift with you, steadying your breath as we move deeper into the story of light. Every living thing listens to light in its own quiet way. Plants, animals, and humans alike shape their days and nights around its rhythms, often without even knowing. This gentle guidance is called a circadian rhythm, an inner clock tuned not by ticking hands, but by photons. It is light that sets the tempo, softly marking when to wake, when to rest, and when to dream. Plants are perhaps the most visible examples of this partnership. Each morning, as the sun rises, flowers unfold their petals as if answering a slow invitation. Leaves turn to follow the light across the sky, a movement so subtle that only time-lapse reveals the dance. This tendency, called phototropism, allows plants to drink in the sun's gift, to grow tall and strong without rushing. Watching a plant tilt toward the light reminds us that seeking brightness is a natural act, calm, instinctive, and always patient. In forests, light filters down in dappled patterns. The canopy above scatters the sun into patches of shifting gold, and the plants below respond by adjusting their leaves to catch whatever glow reaches them. Each shaft of light becomes precious, and yet there is no struggle, no noise, only quiet adaptation. It is as if the forest accepts what comes, making peace with the rhythm of shadow and shine. Animals too are tuned to light. Birds greet dawn with song because the brightening sky signals that it is time to stir. Many species are just breeding, feeding, and migration according to the length of days. In summer's long glow, activity stretches. In winter's short light, bodies rest more. Even underwater, creatures rise and fall in the ocean depending on how much sunlight penetrates the surface. This daily vertical migration, billions of tiny animals drifting upward at dusk and downward at dawn, is the largest movement of life on Earth, and it happens every single day in silence. Humans are no different. Behind your eyes lies a tiny bundle of cells that keeps time by listening to light. When morning light reaches it, signals ripple through your body, waking you gently, raising temperature, sharpening thought. When evening falls and light fades, the same system tells your body to release melatonin, the quiet messenger that invites sleep. You do not control this process. It unfolds on its own, a natural choreography between light and chemistry. This is why sunrise feels energizing, why dim lamps feel calming, why the flicker of a candle can make your eyelids heavy. Our relationship with light has shaped rituals across cultures. Sunrise prayers, sunset meditations, seasonal festivals, all honor the rhythm of illumination. For early farmers, dawn meant work and dusk meant rest. For sailors, stars and moonlight meant navigation and safety. Even now, when artificial lights fill our nights, the body still listens more faithfully to natural cycles. We may trick ourselves with screens and bulbs, but deep within, the ancient rhythm persists, always leaning toward the sun's rise and fall. Consider, too, the gentle ways light helps bodies heal. Exposure to daylight boosts mood, strengthens bones, and helps regulate hormones. Hospitals often design windows to flood recovery rooms with sunlight, because healing is faster when the body feels the reassurance of daylight. Light is more than brightness. It is medicine, flowing softly into cells, reminding them to repair, to balance, to continue. And yet, balance is important. Just as too little light can weigh on the mind, too much harsh light at night can disturb rest. This is why people now speak of light hygiene, dimming screens before bed, using warmer lamps, respecting the body's longing for twilight. These small choices are modern rituals, but they echo ancient truths. That light is not only a tool, but a companion, guiding us toward wakefulness or rest, toward focus or calm. As you reflect on this, imagine a plant turning slowly toward the sun, a bird singing quietly at dawn, or your own breath sinking with the steady dimming of evening lamps. These images are reminders that you, too, are part of light's rhythm, always moving with its rise and fall, even as you drift into sleep. In the next part, we will explore the artistry of human light, the lanterns, candles, and gentle lamps we have made to soften the dark, and how they shape our nights with comfort and ritual. For now, let the thought of a slow sunrise, steady, reliable, endlessly returning, settle in your mind like a promise that tomorrow will always find its way. From the moment humans first discovered fire, we have shaped light into gentle companions for the night. A torch flickering in a cave, a lantern swinging on a quiet road, a candle glowing on a bedside table, these are more than tools. They are guardians of calm, shaping the dark into something safe and familiar. Lanterns have always been symbols of guidance. In ancient towns, a lantern at a doorway told travelers that someone within was awake and welcoming. Carried through streets, they softened shadows, giving comfort to those moving through the night. Unlike the harsh blaze of the sun, lanterns glow in circles, small islands of light where conversation can linger softly. They make the night feel navigable, breaking darkness into manageable pieces. Candles hold a special intimacy. Their flames are never still. They dance slowly, bending as if bowing with each breath of air. This movement mesmerizes the eye, drawing the mind into stillness. It is no wonder that candles are used in meditation and prayer across cultures. A single candle in a dark room does not push away every shadow, but it reshapes them into something gentle, rhythmic, almost alive. The warmth of firelight, whether from candles, hearths, or lamps, has always been linked to safety. Long before electricity, families gathered around fire as the day closed. The glow gave heat, but also community. To watch flames together is to share silence comfortably, without need for words. Even now, sitting by a campfire or in front of a fireplace feels calming. because our bodies remember that flickering light as a signal of shelter. With electricity, light spread farther and faster. At first it blazed brightly, filling nights with new energy. Yet even now, people seek gentler forms. Warm lamps, string lights, shaded bulbs, these are ways we soften the edge of modern brightness, returning to the cozy circle of light we once made with fire. Think of a room lit by a single lamp at dusk. The walls dim, corners retreat, and only the near space glows. This narrowing of focus helps the mind unwind, shrinking the day's demands into something quiet and manageable. Festivals across the world celebrate with light. Lantern festivals in Asia fill the sky with drifting orbs, each carrying wishes like glowing prayers. In Scandinavia, candles brighten long winters, each flame a reminder of warmth in the cold. In cities, holiday lights weave streets into patterns of glow, turning ordinary nights into gentle celebrations. These rituals are not just decorative, they are affirmations that light is comfort, a shared language of calm. Artificial light also allows creativity. Artists paint with neon, architects design buildings to glow like beacons, writers describe lamplight falling across pages. Yet even in art, the most cherished uses of light are often the softest. The way a window glows warmly in the distance, the way a paper lantern shades brightness into amber, the way a candle reflects in glass like a second flame. What is striking is that even though we command vast power to light entire cities, we still choose to mimic the gentleness of fire. Warm tones, flickering bulbs, low lamps, all echo the ancient comfort of flames. It suggests that deep within, we crave not endless brightness but quiet pools of light, just enough to see, just enough to soothe. In the next part, we will journey further into the sky, exploring starlight and the infinite patience of distant suns' light that has traveled for centuries simply to reach your eyes. But before we move there, picture a single candle on a quiet table, its glow steady and warm. Notice how even the smallest flame can soften a whole room and how your own thoughts settle into its rhythm. When you look at the night sky, every star you see is more than a point of light. It is a messenger, carrying with it the story of distance and time. Starlight takes years, decades, even millennia to reach Earth. By the time it brushes your eye, the star itself may have already changed, or even vanished. You are seeing history written in photons, quiet evidence of a universe far older and more patient than our daily concerns. Well, the light you see began its journey before human civilization rose. Some began before the Earth itself formed. To realize this is to rest in a kind of cosmic calm, because it reminds you that time flows far more gently than our hurried lives suggest. Stars twinkle not to entertain us, but because their light must pass through layers of atmosphere, bending slightly as air moves. That twinkling, fragile as it seems, is a steady rhythm, a heartbeat of the sky that has pulsed for billions of years. The Milky Way arches across the night like a river of soft dust. Its glow is not from a single star, but from countless faint ones, too far to distinguish individually. Together, they create a hazy band that reminds us of our smallness and our belonging. Looking at the Milky Way is like looking at the soft blur of memory, not sharp, not precise, but undeniably present and deeply calming. Planets too reflect their own quiet forms of light. Venus, bright and steady, is often called the morning star, though it is not a star at all. Its glow has guided travelers, poets, and dreamers for centuries. Jupiter, Saturn, and Mars all shine with their own hues, small but steady markers in the sky. Unlike stars, they do not twinkle as much, holding their light with patience, as though reminding us of their constant presence. The moon joins this chorus, reflecting sunlight with a cool serenity. Unlike the sun's fierce blaze, the moon offers a dimmer, slower companion. It waxes and wanes in cycles, a reliable calendar in the sky. For countless generations, people have looked to its glow for guidance, planting, harvesting, traveling, or simply resting under its silver calm. To imagine starlight as a lullaby is to understand the sky in a new way. Each photon that enters your eye has traveled calmly, without hurry, across unimaginable distances. It does not arrive late or early. It arrives when it must. This patience is its lesson. As you breathe slowly under the stars, you too can adopt that rhythm, letting your thoughts stretch across time without urgency, without haste. Next, we will drift back toward Earth, exploring how light filters through natural landscapes, forests, mountains, rivers, and how these settings transform brightness into something deeply calming. For now, let your mind rest beneath a night sky scattered with stars, each point a quiet messenger from a faraway world, each shimmer a reminder that calm can endure across eternity. When light touches landscapes, it softens into patterns that soothe the senses. In forests, it filters through leaves, breaking into dappled mosaics across the ground. This speckled glow shifts as branches sway, creating a moving quilt of brightness and shadow. To walk in such a forest is to feel wrapped in a calm rhythm, each step accompanied by the gentle play of light above. Mountains capture light differently. At dawn, peaks are the first to catch the sun, glowing pink and gold while valleys still rest in shadow. This alpenglow feels like a slow unveiling, as if the world itself is waking carefully, one ridge at a time. At sunset, mountains hold onto the last strands of light, their faces painted in deep amber, then violet, before fading into dusk. Watching such a transformation requires patience, but it rewards with serenity. Rivers and lakes mirror light, stretching it into long ripples. A sunset on water becomes a shimmering path, as though the sky had spilled itself into liquid form. Each wave bends and fractures the glow, turning a single color into 1,000 moving fragments. The effect is mesmerizing, drawing the eyes into a trance of constant change, always shifting yet always calm. In caves and caverns, light behaves differently still. A single beam entering from above can transform a dark chamber into something sacred. Dust motes float in the glow like tiny stars, and walls reflect the faintest hints of color. Even underground, where darkness reigns, light creates peace simply by existing. Light across landscapes reminds us that beauty is not only in brightness, but in the way it interacts with what it touches. A tree, a mountain, a wave, each reshapes photons into patterns that soothe, inviting us to pause, to notice, to rest. In the next part, we will turn toward the science hidden within light, the gentle truths of how it bends, scatters, and reveals color. But always we will remember that behind the science lies poetry, waiting quietly in each beam. Light may feel mystical, but its science is a story of subtle interactions, each as calming as the phenomena themselves. At its heart, light is both a wave and a particle, a duality that seems contradictory but is, in truth, harmonious. Waves ripple, carrying energy across space. Particles, photons, arrive like tiny messengers, each carrying a whisper of brightness. That light can be both is less a puzzle, and more a reminder that existence itself can hold more than one form, shifting fluidly, never needing to choose. One of the most soothing principles of light is refraction, the way it bends when it passes through water or glass. This bending is what creates rainbows, what makes a straw in a glass look displaced, what turns a simple droplet into a prism. The bending is never harsh. It is graceful, like a bow taken during a dance. To imagine light refracting is to imagine a traveler changing pace to move more easily across new terrain, adapting gently rather than forcing its way through. Another calming quality of light is scattering. Tiny particles in the atmosphere scatter, shorter blue wavelengths more than longer reds. This is why the sky appears blue by day and why sunsets glow red. It is not a sudden switch, but a gradual unfolding. As the sun lowers, more air lies in its path, scattering more blue away, leaving behind hues of fire and rose. Scattering is nature's way of painting with softness, turning physics into watercolor across the sky. Diffraction is yet another gentle trick. When light bends around edges or passes through slits, it creates ripples of interference, spreading into patterns of fringes. These fringes, though technical in explanation, are visually delicate, fine bands of brightness and shadow, a lacework of photons. To think of light diffracting is to think of waves of calm, overlapping and blending, weaving together in silence. Polarization, too, is quiet and elegant. Light waves can align in specific directions, reducing glare and sharpening vision. Sunglasses use this principle, but so do insects, who see polarized light patterns across the sky to guide their flight. Imagine the sky as not just blue, but filled with hidden lines of order, like invisible threads stretching from horizon to horizon. These threads are always present, but only visible to those who can listen in special ways. Each of these principles, refraction, scattering, diffraction, polarization, may sound like physics, yet each carries a meditative rhythm. They are not explosions or violent reactions. They are subtle negotiations, tiny shifts in direction, quiet adaptations. Light never pushes. It bends, it scatters, it adjusts. Perhaps that is why learning about light feels restful. Its science mirrors calm behavior, a willingness to flow rather than resist. As we continue, we will explore how light is woven into culture and story, myths of sun and moon, tales of divine fire, legends of stars that guide. For now, let the thought of light bending through a drop of water linger in your mind. Picture it splitting into colors, not abruptly, but in a slow, graceful arc, like silk unraveling into a rainbow. Long before science named photons and wavelengths, people told stories about light. These stories were not only explanations, but comfort, ways of framing the sun, the moon, and the stars as familiar companions. Across cultures, light became a character in myths, often gentle, sometimes protective, always meaningful. In Greek myth, the sun was carried across the sky by Helios in his shining chariot, rising each morning and descending each night. To picture this daily journey was to find reassurance in the routine, the certainty that dawn would return. In Norse traditions, the aurora was seen as the glow of shields belonging to celestial warriors, a faint but steady reminder of unseen guardians in the sky. Many cultures imagine the moon as a watchful figure. In East Asian lore, a rabbit is said to live on the moon, pounding herbs, a gentle, domestic image rather than a fierce one. In Native American tales, the moon is a grandmother, steady and watchful, guiding the rhythms of life with patience. These stories soften the darkness, turning the night into a place of companionship rather than fear. Fire, too, held symbolic light. In nearly every culture, the hearth was sacred. Flames represented warmth, protection, and community. Rituals of fire, from candles lit in prayer to torches carried in festivals, became acts of comfort. The act of lighting something was more than practical. It was an offering, a way of saying, "We are not alone in the dark." Stars were also woven into story. Sailors across oceans saw constellations as maps, steady lights guiding them home. Farmers saw them as calendars, telling when to plant or harvest. For storytellers, stars became symbols of ancestors, heroes, or spirits, each one a gentle marker in the sky. Looking upward, people found not just points of light, but entire tapestries of meaning. What unites these myths is their calmness. Light is rarely a figure of chaos in story. It is almost always a figure of order, hope, or kindness. Even when fire blazed fiercely, it was framed as cleansing or renewing. Even when lightning flashed, it was seen as communication from the heavens. These narratives soothed people through uncertainty, turning natural light into spiritual reassurance. In this way, light has always been both physical and emotional. It illuminates paths, but also comforts hearts. It is science and poetry, fact and story. When you think of light as myth, you join a long line of humans who found peace by gazing into glow, by trusting in dawn, by believing that stars were gentle messengers above. In the next part, we will turn toward the future of light, how technology creates new ways to brighten our nights, and how even then, the softest forms remain the most comforting. For now, imagine a night sky filled with stories, each star carrying not only photons, but the memory of all who have gazed before you, seeking calm in the same quiet patterns. As much as light is ancient, it is also always new. Humanity has never stopped finding ways to harness and reshape it, from fire to candle to lantern to bulb. Each step forward has been a way of carrying brightness into the dark, but each also carries with it the same desire, not just to see, but to feel safe and calm. Modern light is not limited to simple bulbs. Fiber optics now carry light through glass threads thinner than a strand of hair, delivering information as flashes of brilliance. Entire libraries of knowledge, voices, images, and conversations flow across the world at the speed of light, connecting people in a way that would have seemed magical to our ancestors. To think of a message crossing oceans in less than a blink is to understand light as both a tool and a bridge. And yet, this miracle remains invisible to the eye, quiet and unobtrusive, just photons slipping silently along glass pathways beneath seas and cities. Lasers are another way we shape light. They are precise, steady beams used in medicine, in technology, in art. Surgeons use them to heal with less pain. Engineers use them to measure the Earth with extraordinary accuracy. Artists use them to paint skies with temporary auroras of their own making. And yet, despite their power, lasers are still light, calm, consistent, and obedient to the same principles that govern rainbows and twilight glows. In cities, light takes on artistic forms. Buildings glow with gentle outlines, bridges shimmer with shifting colors, festivals bathe streets in luminescent patterns. Architects think of light as part of space itself, shaping how people feel as they walk through an area. Soft lighting in a park can make a night stroll safe and inviting. Warm lights in a library can make the silence feel deeper. The way we arrange light influences the rhythms of our lives just as much as the sun and moon once did. Technology also teaches us restraint. For all the brilliance of neon and LEDs, there is a growing understanding that less is more. Designers speak of human-centered lighting, creating warmth instead of glare, cycles that mirror sunrise and sunset rather than flatten the day into constant brightness. This is not only healthy but soothing, helping people return to the natural cadence their bodies crave. Beyond Earth, scientists dream of harnessing light in space. Solar sails, vast, delicate sheets, could one day carry ships through the cosmos, pushed gently by photons. Imagine a craft drifting silently, not through fuel and fire, but through the quiet pressure of sunlight itself. Such voyages would be slow, patient, and yet unstoppable, echoing the same rhythm of calm endurance that light has always carried. The future of light is not about conquering darkness, but about learning to live with both. Too much brightness can overwhelm, too much dark can unsettle. But in balance lies peace, the same balance humanity has sought since the first campfire flickered in the night. The future, then, may simply be a continuation of the past, more ways to shape light gently, to create spaces that soothe, to carry glow into the places where we rest. As we move deeper into this exploration, we will look at the smallest lights, the flickers in cells, the faint signals in nature, the glimmers that are nearly invisible but carry profound meaning. For now, imagine the calm of a city lit softly at night, streets glowing not with glare but with warm lamps, windows offering steady golden beacons, each one a promise that within someone rests safely. Not all light is grand or cosmic. Some of the most soothing glows are also the smallest, hidden within the workings of life itself. Deep in cells, tiny sparks of biochemistry guide processes quietly, invisible to the naked eye. To know they are there is to feel comforted. Even within your own body, light is at work, whispering in molecules. One such process is fluorescence, where certain substances absorb light and release it again, glowing faintly in new colors. Many corals, fish, and even plants display these delicate shines. Under ultraviolet light, minerals and shells reveal patterns like secret scripts written in glow. These fluorescences are not loud. They are hushed, like soft notes that only appear when you listen closely. In human biology, light also plays hidden roles. Cells called photoreceptors line the retina, each responding to photons with delicate precision. These signals ripple forward, becoming the images you see, the colors you feel, the memories tied to sunsets or lamplight. Every glance, every shift of gaze, begins with a photon touching one of these receptors. It is a partnership so constant that we forget it, but so gentle that it never strains. Your eyes are always listening for light, and light always answers. Some scientists even speak of biophotons, faint glimmers emitted by living cells during metabolic processes. They are unimaginably dim, far below what the human eye can see. Yet sensitive instruments detect them, and their existence suggests that light may be part of the way cells communicate. Imagine, if true, that within your body millions of tiny glows flicker as signals, invisible but present. That idea alone carries a calming wonder, as though you are made not only of matter, but of soft radiance. In insects, delicate light guides life in other ways. Moths navigate by the glow of the moon, orienting themselves to steady beams. Fireflies synchronize their blinks into waves of illumination, entire meadows pulsing in harmony. These faint signals may seem small, but together they create landscapes of calm. Natural light shows that soothe those lucky enough to witness them. The smallest lights remind us that glow is not always a spectacle. Sometimes it is hidden, patient, or almost imperceptible. To recognize this is to appreciate that peace does not always come from brilliance, but from subtlety, a truth that light embodies at every scale. In the next part, we will draw these threads together, considering what light means not just in physics or biology, but in spirit, how it symbolizes hope, clarity, and rest, and how it has always helped humans find their way, both outward and inward. For now, picture the smallest light you can imagine, a glimmer inside a cell, a spark along a leaf, a blink of a firefly in the grass, and let it remind you that calm is often quiet, yet deeply powerful. Across ages and across cultures, light has carried meaning far beyond its physical presence. It has always been a symbol of hope, of guidance, of clarity. In stories and rituals, light is the emblem of beginnings, of safety, of truth. To sit with these meanings is to feel the deeper calm that light inspires, not only in the eyes, but in the heart. Hope is perhaps light's strongest metaphor. A single flame in darkness has long represented the idea that no matter how vast the night, something persists. This is why candles are lit in memory, in prayer, in ceremony. The glow is never blinding, but steady, an image of quiet endurance. To watch a candle is to understand that small radiance can soften immense dark. Guidance is another gift. A lighthouse beam sweeping the sea, a lantern hung along a path, a star rising in the east, all are forms of light that reassure travelers. They tell the lost that direction exists, that safety is near. For those resting, these lights are comforting even from a distance, because they symbolize presence, vigilance, and care. Clarity, too, comes with light. The moment morning sun filters through a window, shadows dissolve, shapes sharpen, colors return. What was uncertain becomes clear, not through effort but through illumination. Light has long been paired with knowledge for this reason. Wisdom is often called enlightenment. Yet the calm truth is that clarity need not come in a rush. It can unfold slowly, like dawn spreading across a landscape, steady and reassuring. In personal life, people often speak of seeking light during difficult times. This does not mean escaping darkness altogether, but finding enough glow to continue, enough brightness to rest in. Darkness is not the enemy. It frames light, gives it meaning, makes it precious. The two balance one another, and in that balance lies peace. Even in dreams, light carries symbolic weight. A dream of sunrise can feel like renewal. A dream of lamps or torches can feel like guidance. The mind, resting, still draws comfort from light, as if its symbolism is woven into us more deeply than we realize. This spiritual layer of light is perhaps its most calming quality. Whether or not you think of stars as ancestors, candles as prayers, or dawn as renewal, the feelings remain. Light gives us a sense of safety, continuity, and care. It reminds us that, however long the night, morning always comes. In the next and final part, we will bring the journey to its gentle close, reflecting on how light, in all its forms, cosmic, natural, human, and symbolic, offers us calm, and how by noticing it, we learn to rest more easily. For now, imagine yourself surrounded not by brightness, but by a soft, steady glow, enough to see, enough to feel safe, enough to close your eyes in peace. We have drifted together through the many faces of light, from the blazing sun to the faintest biophoton, from rainbows in the sky to lanterns in human hands, from myths whispered through ages to the glow that comforts in silence. In each form, light has shown the same gentle truth, that brightness need not be harsh, that illumination can be soft, and that calm is always within reach. Light wakes us, guides us, heals us, and soothes us. It bends through raindrops to paint arcs of color. It scatters across air to make the sky blue. It shimmers in plankton and fireflies, flows in rivers of stars across the night sky, settles in candles and lamps, and glows even within ourselves. Everywhere it appears not as demand, but as invitation, an open hand extended by the universe, saying simply, "Rest here, be at ease." For as long as humans have lived, we have trusted light to mark our days, to remind us that night is temporary, that morning always returns. And even in the deepest dark, we have found ways to carry small glows with us, to make darkness gentler. This instinct is universal, to gather, to soften, to keep one another safe in the presence of glow. As you rest now, let these thoughts settle like gentle embers. Imagine the slow breathing of twilight, the patient shimmer of stars, the steady flame of a candle, the ancient journey of starlight arriving just now at your eyes. Each of these is a reminder that calm is always near, carried quietly in photons that have no weight yet bring infinite comfort. So close your eyes, breathe with ease, and allow the story of light to fade into stillness. The glow will remain in the sky above, in the world around, and within you, steady, patient, waiting to guide you into sleep. Thank you for drifting with me tonight here at Directive 86. Until the next journey, may light keep you company, gentle and calm.